The executions were broadcast across every inhabited world in the Galactic Empire. 3 human generals, captured after the siege of Proxima 6, knelt before the Supreme Archon's tribunal. The aliens who had conquered 40% of known space watched with their multifaceted eyes, their chitinous appendages clicking in what passed for approval among the Zarketh species. General Morrison, General Chen, General Okonkwo. 3 of humanity's finest military minds executed in front of billions. The Zarketh expected humanity to break. Instead, they unleashed something far worse. 5 days after the executions, Captain James Reeves stood on the bridge of the stealth frigate Phantom's Edge, his jaw clenched so tight his teeth ached. The footage played on loop in his mind. Not on the screen, he'd seen it enough times. The way Morrison had held her head high, the way Chen had smiled defiantly, the way Okonkwo had sung an old Earth hymn until the plasma rifles silenced her forever. "Captain, we're approaching the nebula's edge," Lieutenant Lisa Zhao said from the navigation console, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. She'd served under General Chen for 3 years. James knew she hadn't slept since the broadcast. "Good, keep us dark. If the Zarketh detect us before we're in position, this whole operation goes to hell." James moved to her station, placing a hand briefly on her shoulder. "You holding up, Lisa?" She didn't look at him, eyes fixed on the stellar map. "I'll hold up fine once we make them pay." The mission briefing had been simple. The Zarketh High Command was gathering on the fortress world of Krathnar for a victory celebration. Every major military leader, every fleet admiral, every strategic mind that had orchestrated the invasion of human space, all in one place. It was an opportunity. One that required something drastic, something the galaxy would remember. The Zarketh called humans the soft ones. They were wrong on multiple levels, but they particularly misunderstood one crucial aspect of human nature: humanity's relationship with monsters. Every human culture had them. Creatures from nightmares, beings that punished the wicked and reminded people why they feared the dark. The Zarketh, in their sterile hive logic, had no equivalent. They understood hierarchy and efficiency, conquest and submission. They didn't understand myths, legends, or the power of a story that transcended reason. They'd never heard of the Baba Yaga, but they were about to learn. 12 hours before the strike. The warheads armed. "Captain?" Lisa reported, running diagnostics on the payload for the 14th time. "Mass converters are synchronized. Once we trigger the reaction, the entire planet's core will destabilize." James studied the schematic of Krathnar. 2 billion Zarketh lived on the fortress world. Military, yes, but also civilians, if such a distinction existed in their rigid caste system. Egg nurseries, larval care centers. The moral calculus made his stomach turn. Then he remembered Morrison's execution. Chen's last smile. Okonkwo's hymn cut short. "They made their choice when they put those women on their knees," James said quietly. "We're not starting this war, Lisa. We're ending the rules they thought applied to it." Lisa met his eyes. Hers were red-rimmed but hard as diamonds. "General Chen once told me that humanity's greatest strength wasn't our technology or our tactics. It was our ability to tell ourselves stories and then become the heroes or monsters those stories required. Looks like today, we're the monsters." "No, sir." Lisa's voice carried an edge of something ancient and cold. "Today we're Baba Yaga, the witch who punishes those who harm children, the crone who lives in the dark forest where wicked things go to hide." She paused. "Except this time the wicked things can't hide anywhere in the galaxy." The Phantom's Edge drifted through the asteroid field like a ghost. Zarketh sensors swept past them, unable to detect the frigate's experimental stealth coating. James watched the fortress world rotate below, its surface glittering with military installations and celebration lights. They were toasting their victory, the subjugation of the soft ones who dared resist the Empire's expansion. "We're in position," Lisa confirmed. "Firing solution locked." "On your order, Captain." James opened the ship-wide channel. His crew numbered only 37. Volunteers all who knew this was likely a one-way mission. "This is for Morrison, Chen, and Okonkwo. This is for every human they've killed, every colony they've burned, every child they've orphaned." He paused. "This is for reminding the galaxy that humanity doesn't break. We adapt, we endure, and when you push us too far," he nodded to Lisa, "we become the nightmare you can't wake up from." Fire. Lisa's finger came down on the trigger. The torpedo was experimental, a human design the Zarketh military intelligence had dismissed as theoretical. It phased through Krathnar's planetary shields like they didn't exist, burrowed through 200 kilometers of crust in 16 seconds, and embedded itself in the planet's mantle. Then it simply waited. Warhead deployed, Lisa said. Detonation in 30 seconds. We need to jump now, Captain. Helm, get us the communications array lit up. An incoming transmission. Zarketh military frequencies. Against his better judgment, James accepted it. Supreme Archon Vrakthul's insectoid face filled the screen, compound eyes glittering with contempt. Humans. We detected your primitive vessel. Surrender and your death will be swift. Resist and we will make examples of your entire— You already made your examples, James interrupted, his voice ice. 3 of them. And now, Archon, you're going to understand something about humans that your intelligence files got wrong. Vrakthul's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. And what is that soft one? James smiled, but there was nothing human in it. We tell our children stories about monsters. Creatures that live in dark forests, that punish the wicked, that remind evil there are worse things than itself lurking in the shadows. He leaned forward. You executed our generals thinking we'd surrender. Instead, you've taught the galaxy why humanity's most terrifying myths are about the things we became, not the things we feared. Ridiculous. Your superstitions mean nothing to the warhead just activated in your planet's core, Lisa said sweetly. You have approximately 9 minutes before Krathnar tears itself apart. Your shields can't stop it. Your evacuation ships can't save 2 billion Zarketh in 9 minutes. And every species in the galaxy is going to watch your fortress world die the same way we watched our generals die. Vrakthul's compound eyes widened. You would commit genocide. We would become exactly what you forced us to become, James said. You wanted to break humanity. Congratulations, Archon. You just learned that when humans break, we don't shatter. We sharpen. Welcome to the dark forest. Welcome to the witch's hut that walks on chicken legs. Welcome to Baba Yaga. He cut the transmission. Jump, James ordered. Now. The Phantom's edge vanished into FTL just as Krathnar's crust began to fracture. The destruction of Krathnar took 17 minutes. 2 billion. Zarketh died as the planet collapsed into its destabilizing core, pulled apart by forces they couldn't comprehend or stop. The Galactic Empire watched in horror as their greatest fortress world became a debris field in a quarter of an hour. Humanity broadcast a single message across all frequencies. You executed 3 of our generals. We've killed your high command and shown you that nowhere in the galaxy is safe from human retribution. This is not a threat. This is a promise. Harm our people again, and we will burn your worlds to ash and tell our children stories about why. We are not the soft ones. We are Baba Yaga, and we have just begun to hunt. The Zarketh Empire sued for peace within a month. They never learned the truth, that the Phantom's edge barely escaped, that only 15 of the 37 crew survived the jump, that Captain James Reeves and Lieutenant Lisa Zhao spent 3 weeks drifting in a damaged ship wondering if their sacrifice would matter. But humanity learned something more important. When you push a species that tells itself stories about monsters, you risk discovering those stories were always autobiographical. The galaxy never forgot Krathnar, and they never again underestimated the species that could become its own nightmare. When backed into a corner, and